Hey, what's up everybody? Jack of Many Trades back here again with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Nebula Cosmos Laser 4K again. If you guys have not seen my original video review of this product, be sure to check the link above. And with that being said, let's get started. So first off, I wanted to mention to you guys that this video again is sponsored by Nebula. But with that being said, all of the thoughts and opinions are my own, and so this is what's up. So first off, I wanted to let you guys know that there's a promotion going on right now for Memorial Day. So what they're going to be doing is offering this for $16.99 US on Amazon.com. And if you use the coupon code in my description, you'll get another extra $100 off. So that'll bring the price down to $15.99, which is a pretty great deal for you guys. So be sure to take advantage of that and use the links down below if you feel like picking this up for your next outing or family get-together. So the Nebula Cosmos Laser 4K, if you guys don't know yet, it's an Android tvOS 10 based device, which allows you to see over 400,000 movies and TV shows. It has about 7,000 apps, and beyond the apps that can be obtained from the Google App Store, you also have, of course, sideloading as an option if that's something that you want to go about. However, if you do sideload apps, some things may not work perfectly, so don't expect all of that to work, but all of the apps that are on the App Store will work perfectly fine on this. And another thing that may interest some of you is that this is a Netflix certified device. So if you guys are subscribers to Netflix, you will be able to use it straight out of the box. It works perfectly with no issues. So that's another really nice thing that they added. Also, a great feature of this is its size, of course. This is a fairly small portable lifestyle projector. It weighs just around 12 to 15 pounds. 15 is probably on the high end, I would say, but probably between 12 and 15 is a good guesstimate for how much it weighs. And it has this very nice, convenient carrying handle on the top, and it has a 1/4-20 screw hole mount on the bottom, so you can put this on a tripod or any other sort of mounting device that you can think of, so that we can level this in front of the screen or wall that you plan to be viewing this against. On the topic of viewing, if you guys do want to use this during the day, there is absolutely no problem with doing that, as this is a laser projector outputting around 2200 ISO lumens or 1800 ANSI lumens. This thing gets extremely bright and can do HDR content for you, even in a moderately lit room. And even in a well-lit room, you'll still be able to see the picture, although colors will be washed out a little bit, as you know, it is a projector after all. But with that being said, if you have a professional movie screen like I have right here, watching John Wick 4, if you guys have not seen that movie, definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. Then this is going to be an absolutely fantastic experience for you guys. But like I said, this is a lifestyle projector. It's meant to be carried around, put up wherever it is that you want to go. So I think that regardless of what scenario you're in, whether you have a professional screen or you don't, this thing will do the job for you. With that being said, let's get into some of the features and included accessories. So inside of the box, as you'll see here, we have the power cable, we have the remote controller, the Nebula Cosmos Laser 4K itself, and of course you have the streaming box, which goes in the back. To put it into the back, all you need to do is just pop open this little back cover by sliding up on it, and it'll just pop right out. Then you just plug in the bottom cable to the bottom and the top cable to the top. Tuck it away. It has a nice little compartment, and what's nice is that there's a little fan in there to keep the whole thing cool. Then you just replace the cover and you're good to go. Now all you need to do is just plug it in to an AC outlet, and you will be up and ready to start with the setup process. Now unfortunately, with this projector, although it is a portable lifestyle projector, this does require AC power, as you just saw, which is not a deal breaker by any means, but it is something to consider if you guys want to go camping or other things like that, and maybe you don't have a high enough powered battery backup to be able to run this. So just be aware of that. I will leave a couple of Anker products linked down below if you guys want to check them out. They will have enough power output to power a device such as the Cosmos Laser 4K for a good bit of time. Regardless of how you use it, just make sure that you have an AC outlet nearby, or you have an extension cord or something like that to make this work. All right, so before we get started here, I just wanted to go over the I/O with you guys. So back here we have the AC in port. Right next to that we have an HDMI port. This is HDMI 2, so you're not going to get HDR or other things like that through the HDMI, but at least it's there. You also have a USB port. This is for just transferring files and other things like that, and you have it. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Nebula controller for the Cosmos Laser 4K. Up at the top left, we have our power button. At the top right, we have our Nebula button. We also have a bookmark button, a Google Assistant button. We also have the settings button. This is for our Android TV settings. We have a radial dial for selecting our menu options. We also have a back button, home button, and a TV button if you have a subscription. We also have a volume up, volume down, and channel up, channel down with a mute button in the middle. The mute button, if you press and hold it, will be used to use manual keystone, which you will see on the screen right now. And then down below we have dedicated buttons to open up YouTube, to open up Prime Video, Netflix, and Disney Plus. So that is the remote, and there are batteries included with it, but this does take AAA batteries, and it takes 2 of them. Alright, so just showing you guys the Nebula Connect app. This is what you're going to want to download if you want to control the device from your iPhone or from your Android phone. It's very easy to use. You have volume up, volume down. You can add a device or choose a different one. You also have your auto keystoning button here. You can change your 3D settings. Here is your Nebula button. You also can use this as a virtual trackpad, or you can use just your virtual controls here for forward, backward, left, right, and select. You also have a home button down here, a back button, and you have your Android TV settings. All right, now when it comes to actually starting this up and operating it, you have a couple of options. You can use the included remote controller, you can use a phone app, which I will show later, or you can use the actual device itself. So here, if we press the power button, you'll see that it starts to turn on. And you'll also see some controls light up on the device itself. All right, so now if we go like this and tap on the top panel, you'll see that this lights up. So now you have your up and down arrows so that we can navigate through the OS. You also have your settings button. So that brings up your Nebula settings, so that way you can adjust your picture quality, audio, other things like that, image correction. You have a back button, and you have volume up and down, and you have your center button for select. So not too much that you can do directly from the device, but if you don't have your remote controller right nearby, it is kind of a nice thing to have. All right, so here we have this on a 120-inch projector display, and we're just going to do our manual keystoning really quickly here. What you want to do is just press the mute button and hold it. Then you just press the center button to select whatever quadrant you want to work with, and then bring the edges all the way up to the black border if you have a professional display like this one. If not, then just bring the edges to wherever it is that you want them to be. And like I said, if you are using a professional display, you want to bring the white part all the way through to the black edges, so that way it eliminates most of the light that would come through. So of course this is Android TV, and it runs Android TV 11, so you have all of the things that you would expect. You have your Google Play Store, Google Play Movies and TV. You can download things from the internet, so you have YouTube, and I use Apple TV, so that is that. So we'll just do a very quick sound test of the speakers here. Alright, so now here we're going to check out John Wick Chapter 4 at 50% volume. By the way, if you guys haven't seen this already, definitely go and check it out. Alright, and now we're going to test 100% volume. And now here's an audio test of just the fans, so that way you can hear what it sounds like at idle. On average, they're about 37 decibels. Alright, so taking you guys through the settings here, inside of the Nebula settings, you have your Android TV selected, or you can choose HDMI. Since we don't have anything in the HDMI, we'll choose Android TV. You have picture settings, so here we're at 100% brightness. You have different picture modes, which all have different color temperatures and settings. You can also, of course, make your own custom settings. I find that the reds, by default, may be a little bit too saturated in certain situations, so you might want to go into the picture custom and select your own. You can also change the aspect ratio, as well as you can turn HDR on or off. It is on by default. Audio, you have your volume, of course, which you can change using the remote, but if you want to change it here, you can. You also have your different modes, so I have it on movie, since that's basically what I use this for. You also have different modes for Dolby DRC, so you can change to offline RF. It's on RF by default, and that sounds pretty good to me, so I don't think there's too much of an issue with that. Then you can go to image correction. You have one-click focus and keystone correction if you'd like to do that. You have auto keystone at startup. All of these other settings you can play around with if you want. One thing to note is that if you are going to be putting the projector a little bit farther away from a screen like this, and it's too big, you can use the zoom wheel so that we can turn the zoom down, so that way you have a better starting point for auto keystoning. But that is there. You also have your HDMI settings, so input access you can change, and you can leave HDMI 2.0 on. You can use this as a Bluetooth speaker, but using it as a Bluetooth speaker is kind of a waste, so I don't really do that. All right, and down here we have our advanced settings, so you can go to projector mode, which is in auto, but you can have it in any different kind of mode that you want. So you can have it in a rear mode, front mode, rear ceiling, front ceiling. You can also calibrate the time of flight and smart solutions. Here you have a 3D mode, so if you have 3D glasses, you can turn this on, so you can have 3D side by side or over under. So if you do want to get the microphones that Nebula sells, if you're going to have a barbecue or some kind of cookout or something like that, you can get those. I will leave links to those in the description, but it only supports those, so make sure that you pick those up if microphone support is something that you care about. And then you can, of course, reset everything to default settings. And then as far as your Android TV settings, the only things that are important are really the network settings and signing into your accounts. If you want to go into your apps, you can check out all of your recently opened apps and all of the system apps. If it is not on Android TV, you can sideload apps, but sideloading is kind of a bit of a pain and it doesn't always work the way that you want it to. But the nice thing is that pretty much all of the media apps that you might want to have are on this. And like I said, this is Netflix certified, so you do have the Netflix app straight away if that's something that interests you. Just so that you guys are aware, for the storage of this device, it comes with a total of 12 gigabytes, which is more than enough for holding all of your streaming apps and other things like that. And it does also have Chromecast built in, so if your phone supports that, you can do that. You can also bind new remotes and accessories if you so choose. And yeah, so as you can see, this is a pretty bright image at 2200 ISO lumens or around 1800 ANSI lumens. This thing gets very, very bright, and with HDR content, you'll definitely notice a huge amount of contrast pop. For me, I had always been using a 720p projector, and now with this projector being 4K, you can definitely notice an extreme clarity difference, as well as the brightness and contrast is so much better. So it's really, really good. And the nice thing too is that this has a lamp life of 30,000 hours, so that's going to be more than enough for any casual movie watcher, or even if you are a fanatic, it would take you quite a long time to burn this out. And the nice thing is that the Android TV box, as you saw in the beginning of this video, is removable, so presumably they may actually sell upgrades to this down the road if the operating system becomes a little bit slow. So that's kind of something that's nice. There is potentially a route for upgradability, although I'm not entirely sure. Another thing that I think is important to mention is that there are some safety features built in with that extremely bright light. If you do happen to walk across the path of the beam, as you'll see here, it does actually dim the display so that way you don't hurt your eyes. And beyond using this for just movies, as I showed before, you have an HDMI port, so you can play video games if you like. However, one word of caution is if you are going to play games like Resident Evil 4, as you see here, or other sort of first-person shooter competitive type games, or things that require fast reaction times, this is not the projector for you, as it does have a fairly considerable lag to it, so I would only suggest playing games that are more casual in nature, like Forza Horizon or something like that. Lastly, because this is a portable projector, I would definitely suggest you guys to get a case for it. Thankfully, Nebula does make their own case, which you can see right here. It has these nice straps here, so you can put it over your shoulder, or if you don't need them, you can just simply take them off, and it has a strap built in that is a little bit shorter for just holding with your hands. Inside, you will see that you have on the left side a compartment for your remote control. On the right side, you have a compartment for your power cable. On the back, you have compartments for your microphones if you choose to get them, and you even have a lot of space there that you can store your carry strap when you're not using it. And of course, you have a big space for the Nebula Cosmos Laser 4K, and it's padded very nicely, so your projector is not going to get damaged in any way while you're carrying it around. Alright, so with that being said, this has been the Nebula Cosmos Laser 4K. If you guys are interested in picking one of these up for yourselves, again, links will be down in the description below. Don't forget about that coupon code, as it will save you another little bit of money. It will be valid through June 4th, so as long as you order between now and June 4th, you will be good to go, and you'll get some extra money off using that coupon code. So definitely take advantage of that if you choose to order. And again, use the links down below, as it does help out the channel a little bit. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.